Alright, we're done masturbating. Jenna just has the effect on people.
Yeah, we're all done masturbating.
I step out of the bathroom in my towel. I wasn't expecting to take a shower when I first went to the bathroom, so I didn't bring a change of clothes with me. Creeping over on the pads of my feet, I disrobe and quickly begin to put on a fresh t-shirt and shorts from my bag.
Ah!
Chase?
Oh, caught naked.
TJ and Leo are no longer in bed. The Lynx is over by the light switch, squinting blarily at me. Well? Leo blinks at me. Buenos dias.
What? Guys, why do you turn on the light? Okay, like you can infer from the noises in the darkness that someone's leaving the bathroom and going back to their bed, which is just what people do when they're in hotels.
What is this trap you laid?
Yeah, why you make me feel like I'm in trouble? Like,
yeah. I quickly try to scamper on the rest of my shorts, foregoing underwear for the time being. Oh, geez. Sorry, Chase. TJ turns, quickly averting his gaze. Leo just sighs some, rubbing his eyes. Thanks for the show.
Don't look stern at me when you say that.
Your phone was going off while you were in the shower.
Oh, okay.
My cheeks feel a bit warm as I manage to finally get my shorts up to my waistline. Oh, who called? Leo stares blankly at me, looking more tired than any of us. I wasn't going to check.
Yeah, you really shouldn't, so good.
An uneasy look punctuates that comment, and it catches me a little off guard. Can I turn around now?
Oh, TJ.
Yes, TJ. Thank you. The Lynx uncovers his eyes and moves to the bed, sitting back down. He still looks like he hasn't fully woken up yet. What time is it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Chase quickly went from I'm gonna shower in the morning to showering, and now everyone's awake. So I'm like, what's going on?
Well, because there's a big difference. If it's like 2 a.m., it's weird.
Yeah.
If it's like 7 a.m. where it's like on the cusp of people usually kind of waking up, then it's like I can see everyone just being like, okay, well, we're up now.
Yeah.
you just kind of resolve. You're like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah.
I can't go back to bed. So I'm going to be up now.
You ruined sleep for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't. It's part of what I don't like about communals, like any kind of hotel motel situation is just like that, like shared sleeping experience, and you're like tied to whoever falls asleep last and wakes up first collectively, because it's impossible to stay quiet if you don't sleep soundly.
Well, I always have this fear of being the last person to wake up and making everyone wait for me.
Oh.
So I rather be the person that wakes up and like pretends like I'm asleep until I can tell people are waking up.
Oh.
So in hotels I don't sleep that well because I don't want to bother. I don't want to inconvenience anyone else. So like I'm just like, okay, I think it's like the time where people are going to start waking up, and so I'll just sit up for like an hour waiting for people to start like shuffling.
Yeah.
But my dumb dog who I sleep with, who likes to spoon, like I'll have like 20 minutes left of like being able to sleep before work, and then she'll decide she wants to get up, and I'm like, Kiki, I had 20. You waited like you could have waited like 20 minutes. Like I just had only 20 minutes left.
You've ruined me.
And now I have to get up and let you out, but I'm like, I'm not going to be able to go back to bed for 15 minutes. Like fuck that. So I'm like, thanks, dog.
Thanks, you ruined it.
I'm like, you could have slept for another 20 minutes, you dumb dog.
Alternatively, she replaces your pillow and just ruins your day.
Yeah, no, she gives me. I'm gonna have back problems one day because of that dog. She makes me sleep in the most inconvenient positions.
For context, Stephanie is a shockingly sound sleeper.
Yeah.
Like, just powers through anything, which is, at this point, like, Kiki's just testing her.
Well, it's like, I'll power through anything, but I'll feel like, okay, I didn't sleep that great. Like, or like my body's sore, but like my dog will like actively like, she'll lay so physically close to me that I'll just sweat all night and just have like horrible dreams. And I'll just wake up and be like, okay, this is why my sleep was bad.
And she'll like move you around a bit, and she'll like worm under your head and like get your pillow out of the way, and now you're sleeping on her.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
I wake up to like a fleshy, like hairy thing. It's not as fun as it sounds, you know?
Yeah. But I hate that like the bathroom door and so on and everything like that is so like, it feels scientifically designed to be as loud as possible and so hard to do quietly. So I get woken up every time anyone wakes up for any reason, basically, when I'm in these situations. And in Chase's specific situation, I'm like, you can't take a shower in the middle of the night, Chase, because they use that in Furryville. They have a fucking like full body fan thing.
Yeah,
like that's so loud.
Either you go to bed,
it's gotta be so loud,
or you go to bed sopping wet.
Yeah,
and that just sounds horrible.
Yeah, these are all bad options.
I mean, he's an otter though, so
yeah,
I think they just naturally dry real fast.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned the fan this time, but they mentioned it before with TJ. It's come up before. I know it's real.
Yeah,
you
no,
can't trick me.
It's canon, guys. It's canon.
just get reminded of the dumbest quote I read, which is McSkinny said the phrase "Howley wouldn't let me give them shoes." Was a quote. Yeah, he's not allowed to give the characters shoes in this universe.
I mean, that could either just be because of like that's my design choice, and I think that shoes look weird on furries, or it could be like I like feet. It's like it could be one of the. It
varies so much because like you have like we did the digitigrade plantigrade conversation. Like when you have plantigrade feet, then oftentimes they just have human feet and they just wear shoes and it's just normal in certain universes.
I think of the Goofy movie. I think of like how Goofy just has like normal human shaped but like black feet, and it's very like kind of weird to think about, and I think people definitely make fetish art of it. I've seen it actually. I can verify on accident, but like I've seen it. But
and then you have like digitigrade feet where it's like these are just animal feet with like padded feet and everything. They don't need shoes. They've evolved beyond that point. They just fuck it.
Yeah, like
they don't have sad human feet.
Has some big old wolf feet.
But then you have chaos mode, which is where people start having real fun with it, and they design custom furry universe shoes for those feet.
It's like those the shoes that people run with that have the toes where they're just gross.
I haven't seen that specifically, but they tend to have a common one that they draw is they're ones that kind of go up the ankle to the first bend of their weird foot, and they also like they're toeless.
So I feel like the toeless is a must.
So you specifically have the toes sticking out,
because they have claws and stuff.
But it specifically gives padding under and around the ankle of the foot of their weird tiny feet because it's a real specific style. To the point where, like, the VR avatar I have, you can turn those shoes on. Like, they're even made them in full 3D and everything. There's, like, a type now.
There's so much,
but on the inverse, they also make furry shoes for real life, where you have a full, like, clawed foot that's, like, all, like, crafted around a sneaker. And you can buy those.
I've seen those before. I actually really wanted the hoofed ones.
Yeah.
Like that are basically high heels. They're like high heels, but they're like hidden in a hoof foot. And it's not like it wasn't initially for like any furry purpose, but it was because I wanted to do like a photo shoot where I was dressed like a satanic goat. so kind of actually, but I was looking into those hoof shoes, but fuck, they're expensive, obviously. But like, you know.
Yeah.
Being a furry is expensive. That's something I've learned.
The lynx uncovers his eyes and moves to the bed, sitting back down. He still looks like he hasn't fully woken up yet. Sorry for waking you guys. I was really needing a shower. Otter stuff, you know? It's okay, Chase. You kind of woke me up from some pretty weird dreams. So thank you. He manages a smile, still trying to blink the blurriness out of his eyes by the looks of it. His irises begin to narrow back to a more slitted state. Oh,
so he's got the cat eyes. You just can't see him because they're far away.
Yeah, I don't think the artist got that note.
Well, I don't think it would suit TJ very much anyway. He looks too docile. So to have like a straight up like slit eye would just kind of I think wouldn't really like look great on him, you know?
I think it becomes this whole process because like the sprites were redone so many times as far as I could tell, and the descriptions are spread so thinly throughout like this very long story that at some point you're like, oh fuck, what of all the things we've said so far about these characters?
It would be really hard to keep track of.
And sometimes you get really good art that doesn't quite fit what you were going for, and you're like, well, I want to tell them to redo it. This is really good.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You just like, well, this is the art now. No problem, TJ. I actually should be getting back out there. It's 3:30 in the morning, are you sure? I finished putting on my shirt and moved to check my phone. Yeah, I'm sure. Man, When I find that goat, I swear to God. He stretches some before stifling a yawn. That's a weird comma.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be there.
Not gonna let him out of my sight for a month. It's a text from Jenna.
Hi, Chase. I can't sleep, so I'm headed back to the motel. If you're up, do you want to go out looking with me?
Everyone's up at 3:30?
Is it verified 3:30? Did they say that?
I think they just said it's 3:30.
I can't remember if that just happened or if I just imagined it because you said it.
I read it out in the dialogue. I'm feeling a little better after my shower, so I send Jenna a quick text agreeing to help with the search. What does it say?
Hey, Jenna, you should have shut up like maybe 10 minutes ago.
When I was naked.
When I was naked in the shower?
I was thinking about you and I woke you up with my boner
Yeah,
energy.
you felt it from across the land.
I've jostled you with my cosmic boner.
I wonder if they wanted her to not be in this scene because I think there might be something inherently creepy about like jerking off to someone who's in the next room. So I think it might have been like a choice.
TJ cants his head, peering at me with a sort of dazed, curious look. Jenna was having trouble sleeping, so she wants to go out searching. Leo looks up at me, his expression indiscernible. Isn't it kind of dark to try and look for him? I mean, not that I'm trying to dissuade you at all, just seems kind of harder. It's that whole 48 hours thing. The harder we look now, the better. Sitting back and praying everything will work out won't do any good. TJ's eyes widen some, looking a bit taken aback. His jowls twitch some, the feline looking down at the sheets between his legs. Because it's like one of those things you have to judge, like, was this a jab at him being Christian and stuff? Or was it just a general statement? There's a knock at the door. The sound of jingling keys can be heard coming from the other side. They have keys at this motel. That's a trip. Yeah.
It's not very often you go to like a hotel or a motel that actually hands you like a physical key. I had one like recently, and I was like, oh god, I don't want to lose this. You lose one of those plastic cards, and it's like they're like, oh, okay, whatever. Like it takes like 50 cents to replace it. We replace them all the time. Half the time they don't even work. But like a metal key, it's like, oof, you have to go get that from like a key maker, you know? What if someone pockets one? Like, do they have to change the whole lock? Like, oh no.
I think so, yeah.
Or maybe they just don't tell you, and somebody will sneak into your hotel room at night.
Oh, boy. There's a scratching noise of metal on metal, the door being unlocked. After a moment, it opens. Jenna steps out from the darkness, rubbing her arms some and making a beeline for her bag.
Hey, TJ, Chase, Leo.
She nods to each of us in turn before beginning to rifle through her belongings. Aren't you supposed to be keeping watch at the house?
Aren't you supposed to be in jail? I like you better on the back of a milk carton.
What a comeback. He is immediately in pissed off mode too.
Well, yeah, they have bad blood. I hate that song so much.
Going so. TJ makes a noise that sounds like he just choked on his own spit. Because he did. I try to avoid looking directly at Leo. He doesn't say anything, though I hear the bed he's sitting on creak audibly. She takes out 2 water bottles, tossing one to me.
He just smacks
I only
you with it.
barely catch it, mainly because it's stopped by my nose first. Ow. My snout tingles with the aftershock. My nose feels wet for some reason, though when I reach up, there's no blood. Must be the burst blood vessels.
Or the condensation from the water bottle. Oh.
She stifles a brief, amused huff, looking apologetic.
You're still trying to wake up, I see.
You think that's funny, just walking in and hitting him like that?
Yes. A little bit.
a little bit, yeah. You need to chill the fuck out.
It was obviously an accident, Leo.
Yeah. It's also like, it's a water bottle. And she like, she would have like underhand like tossed it towards us, not like, she didn't like fucking like beam us with it like a snowball, and then just takes us out and unconscious chasing the, like, she didn't throw like she was mad at the fucking performance on stage. Leo's crackling baritone comes out a few decibels too loud. His tone stern, like a scolding parent. It has a way of catching everyone's attention.
That wasn't the intent.
There's a pause. Leo's about to speak again, but Jenna managing to cut him off before he can.
Speaking of, we're going to check in with Duke, see if he knows anything. No!
Leo's jaw shifts, as if trying to speak, but the words don't come out. He leans back, then forward again. Have fun.
Chase, you all set?
She looks at me, expectant. I guess she's ready to go. Oh, yeah, sure. I force a smile, trying to downplay the cavalcade of tension this room has become. Goodbye, guys. See you later. TJ seems to be doing the same. Leo just stares.
We'll text with some updates in a bit.
Jenna pats my shoulder once before heading out. I follow suit.
I feel bad leaving TJ with Leo. Like, for some reason, I just feel like it's just tense in there, and I feel bad leaving him there.
Man, fuck Leo. So he knows about Duke.
Oh, yeah, well, he knows...
He doesn't necessarily know about, like, Duke and Brian and how far they're gonna go, but he knows that Duke is...
That
like,
Duke's trying to fuck with us.
Yeah, he... like
because they had that confrontation in front of Carl's house.
Duke, his previous conversations with Duke that happened before we got here would have happened in every timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally already fought Duke when Duke was looking for us specifically, and we have that context from the other playthrough about why he's looking for us. And now we're going to Duke... And Leo just has, like, an expression, and then he's like, have fun. He's just letting us walk into whatever the fuck might happen next. Like, this could be really bad.
That seems kind of like...
But he's like, oh, you're gonna go with Duke? You're gonna go to Duke with Jenna? Fucking...
Well,
bye.
Like, I get he's all pissy, right? But it seems like in every timeline so far, like, his main intention has been to, like, protect us at all costs, even when he's pissed.
He's getting so petty at this point.
But I feel like this is pretty bad for him, because if he thinks that he might do something genuinely violent to us, then it's gonna be, like, that's kind of on him now, like, actually. So, it might be a new low for him, depending on how this goes.
New low for him during the part of the timeline where we can still treat him like his own person and not like a completely detached from reality, like Silent Hill drone. Because obviously the low for him is executing Kudzu. But
well, yeah, I'm not.
But that was when he's like completely just detached from reality.
Oh, there goes gravity.
The air is surprisingly fresh outside, even a bit damp. It's as if the motel room itself had its own oppressive atmosphere that was permeating my sinuses, and now I'm finally free. So we're just not going to wear underwear today.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that already.
Stuck with that for the rest
She's
of the
like,
day.
"Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yeah." like chafing.
No. Fresh out of the shower into just shorts, and 3:30 in the morning.
Hopefully they're not like jean ones.
It's gonna be a long day. Near the horizon, thick gray clouds loom overhead. The reservation must be getting some rain. That's the first time it's been mentioned, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Jenna seems to notice as well, taking a few steps forward into the mostly empty parking lot before speaking up.
Kind of nice out, isn't it?
Yeah. She opens her mouth to speak, but pauses some as she looks over her shoulder, a light frown crossing her blonde features.
Come on, let's go.
She starts moving again, heading toward the street. Duke's house, right? And we're walking?
Yeah. Is that a problem?
She glances back. I don't know how we're gonna knock on someone's door at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, huh?
What the fuck? I take it that means she walked here from Carl's, but this is a small town. As established by Route 65, where we walk across it.
Yeah.
I reach down, feeling the tender, hardening muscles around my thighs and knees. Just still a bit sore from the hike, that's all. Wasn't that, like, 2 days ago?
Yeah, you wuss.
Yeah.
You otter. You can't hike. I can't really blame him. Like, he's literally not made for that. But Oh, you're a tough guy, Chase. I'm sure you'll manage.
A tough guy? I hustle some to catch up, the fennec already on the road. She smiles some as I catch up alongside her.
Your phone has a flashlight, right?
Yeah? Oh, give me a sec. I reach into my pocket and flick on my phone. It takes a second, but I find the right button. The cracked pavement in front of us quickly illuminated. Just in case we come across any snakes or spiders.
Or demons.
Spiders.
Oh yeah. Or overweight rams.
Those two. I shine my phone toward the sagebrush that winds along the narrow wash that passes by the motel. It's like I'm half expecting to see Carl's goofy, grinning muzzle peeking out through the brambles.
I'm sorry if I woke you.
It's fine. I was in the shower. You woke everyone else, though.
She's like, I don't care.
Jenna straightens her tank top, peering through the cracked glass windows of the old ice cream shop. Even the for lease sign on the awning is mostly faded away.
That's sad.
It's still got that old Victorian-style architecture that you see in a lot of buildings built originally by the wealthier settlers at the turn of the century. Faded green and pale blue paint still clings to parts of the main facade, with the copper metal roof a mix of dark amber and turquoise. In its heyday, it probably stood out something fierce, a colorful contrast to the harsh beiges of the desert. And, ultimately, an opulent reminder of the old world amidst the new.
I wasn't expecting Leo to be there, honestly. He giving you any more trouble?
I watch the pavement turn to packed dirt beneath my feet as we round the corner onto Gretchen Road. It's a desolate stretch of road, the only striking feature being a concrete mixing business that closed its doors back in the 90s. You can still see the big mounds of grayish dirt past the slatted chain link. Ultimately, it takes a moment to respond to Jenna's question. No, he's, just upset.
All the time, forever, yes. Always.
In every route. I can practically feel the fox's incredulous raised eyebrow, a trademark reaction if she ever had one. Actually, well, this is gonna sound stupid.
Playing Leo's behavior off as him being just upset is stupid, but continue.
I sigh. Sorry. Jenna frowns some and moves closer, nudging my arm with her shoulder.
Hey, you haven't done anything wrong.
I don't know about that.
Oh? What have you done, Chase?
Again, that expectant look. Well, I was just jacking it to your mental image.
That's flattering.
Here we go. I'm kind of glad you texted me. Didn't really want to go back to sleep. I guess I was having a nightmare. This same sort of recurring one I've been having that's a little different each time. Each dream I'm facing myself, but it's not me. Not like a mirror me. Things are different, messed up, blurred. Sometimes it speaks, and it's all distorted, like an old AM radio station with bad signal. Jenna looks away for a moment, then back to me. And each time, it gets a little clearer. And it might just be me, because it's fresh in my head right now, but I kind of remember what it was saying. This is the first time I feel like... No, we did acknowledge that we did acknowledge the other presence in the last route a little bit, but it's definitely the first time he's talked about it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I stop briefly, shining the flashlight on a tumbleweed rolling across the dirt road ahead. Blah. Like choked on that word a little bit for some reason. It got stopped. It briefly gets stuck on the
mesquite.
The mesquite? Is it just mesquite?
It's mesquite, yeah. That mesquite smells very good. I have some mesquite incense and it's like fucking, it's so good. It doesn't burn right, but I don't throw it away because I just smell it sometimes.
It briefly gets stuck on the mesquite tree, bouncing against the trunk and leaving a few twigs behind before rolling back along its course. That's the wrong it's. Anyway.
You're that guy.
I just know it says it's writing.
It's
fiction.
I understand.
Grammar counts.
Well, and yeah, especially when you're writing like a novel or something fictional.
Yeah.
But people make mistakes. Even what happens in novels, I'm like, oh, whatever. Yeah.
Novels, it's rough because like there's like
you had like
editorial passes.
Yeah, you had several editors, but it's like whatever. It's like those commas should not be there, but okay.
Yeah, I've just heard that it's a universal experience that like you go through all that process to publish a novel, and then right after you print is right when you finally spot another typo, and you're like, fuck.
And then you fire your editors. You're like, get out.
Do you remember when I texted you that I got into the Pueblo and you drove all the way back down here to celebrate?
I do.
We were gonna surprise Leo, remember? Surprise, I'm leaving you, bye.
I do.
There's a delay in her words, as she seems to already know exactly what incident I'm referring to. The prank. She lets out a long, drawn-out breath of air.
We pretended you were cheating on him with those fake texts I was sending you. He smashed your phone, and you told him that you were leaving Echo. Yes, it wasn't the best of practical jokes to play on someone who was already fairly unstable.
He wasn't...
Chase, what does this have to do with your dream?
She cuts me off, her tone more curious than stern. I know, it's just... The whole thing was just playing back like some kind of record. Everything that happened. All the fake text messages you sent me as Jared. The fucking persona you gave me.
Oh yeah, Jared. Yeah, because he called me Ashley, so I called you Jared.
Yeah. He assigned to me Jared during the Death Stranding playthrough.
It was just the first name. I was like, just the first name I thought of. Jared. Now I think of the subway guy.
No.
Just unfortunate.
No. All the fake text messages you sent me as Jared. Me leaving the phone on the table. Leo confronting me. Then you showed up and... Then you showing up and telling him it's a joke. That he's overreacting. And then smash. I make a motion like I'm gonna toss my phone down. Jenna flinches, instinctively grabbing for it before slowly furrowing her thin brows at me.
Has Leo been guilting you about that?
No, not really.
So, you've been feeling guilty then?
I guess? Why else would this be, manifesting in my subconsciousness and all that?
Because Leo's acting fucking like a crazy, like, overprotective boyfriend again, and it's bringing you back memories from the time where he was your overprotective boyfriend who was a jerk to you about things.
The end of that, but not the very well-established end of that.
Yeah. Well, I'd usually recommend expressing this to Leo if I didn't think that your attempts at reconciliation would be perceived by him as you trying to get back together.
She rubs the bridge of her of her short nose before crossing her arms over her chest.
We did already apologize for this years ago, but if you absolutely must, maybe wait until we're back at Pueblo? He's clearly got some issues to sort out right now, and you're under absolutely no obligation to try and solve them, especially considering his recent behavior. It's incredibly difficult to help people that don't want to be helped. Uh-oh, okay, this is kind of...
Interesting.
Hold on. Are we agreeing to telling him about this when we're back at Pueblo? Or are we just agreeing with that general statement?
I think it's...
Are we agreeing with the plan to tell him back when we're at Pueblo? Or are we agreeing that people who don't want to be helped are hard to help? I mean, I feel like it has to be the actual situation.
The latter, but it could.
Really?
It might have wider ramifications. It's hard to say. It's hard to say whether or not this affects anything outside of the next couple of lines, for example. Because, like, we just had that part where, like, you can snack back at the bat. I'm like, I don't think that comes up later, but you never know, because it's all signposting.
Well, I think it's very difficult to disagree that it is hard. It is definitely hard to help people who don't want to be helped. That is, like, I think it's not there's not really much point in arguing against that. I think that is definitely true. But what I would argue is it still worth trying to help them or not? That's a different statement. So I don't exactly know what to say to this, because it's like, is this going to affect like us confronting him about this, or is it just a throwaway line? You don't know.
I do not know. This definitely has more variables than usual. We're also still calling back to the original choice of whether or not we admit we're bisexual, which happened before the choice of who to even follow. We made that all the way back at the carnival.
Well, I think it's still affecting this playthrough.
Yeah. There's all these variables involved.
I really wouldn't. Well, I guess you wouldn't have gotten that whole jerk off scene in the shower if you had said no to that. Well, okay. I don't know, Keith, what do you think? I agree that it's hard to help people, but I also don't think that... I think if it's bugging us a lot, I feel like we should tell Leo, but that could also be, like, dire to do. And I don't know if this is going to make that happen or not.
I don't know, I guess I just kind of inherently agree with her, is where I'm landing.
No, I do too. Like if given this statement with no other context and me thinking that other things could happen, I would just say agree.
You're probably right. She gives me a sidelong look. I mean, you are right.
That's the right answer.
I rub my paw across my face, smushing my own facial features into my paw pads. It's just shitty, I guess. You know someone for 15 years of your life and you grow up with them, there's like, I don't know, a vested interest? I was there for every big mistake, triumph, you name it. I'm not sure what exactly further support I can even offer at this point. It's just been too long. Plus, I'm gone again as soon as this weekend's up. So what's the point when I'm probably just gonna fuck things up worse?
Chase.
Jenna's tone is curt, and I look over to see her face very much matches her tone.
Leo was dry humping you at a kiddie arcade. You do not need to feel this conflicted about being upset about that. Look.
There's a moment of hesitation, like she knows the right words to say, but needs time to phrase them more delicately.
I understand that men have a different hormonal attraction to each other than generally what I feel as a woman when I am attracted to someone. For men, that feeling of attraction, and I am paraphrasing something you probably already understand on at least an intuitive level, is broadly more physical and sudden. There's an emphasis on aesthetics and, well, the mechanics of what's happening.
I blink, getting the gist of what she is saying, but not exactly sure where she's going with this.
As stereotypical as it is, most women feel attraction as a sort of slow burn, where passion is derived from intimacy, meaning, contrast, forbidden love, etc.
She gesticulates in a swirling motion.
That's not to say abrupt sparks of fancy don't form for women too, urges being what they are. So I may not be adequately equipped to fully grasp the true nature of your guys' relationship, but what Leo did at the Familyplex is just beyond dumb, latent horniness. It's complete detachment from reality of you two's respective situations.
Jenna's voice raises some, louder than her usual controlled level and probably inappropriate for this time of night.
It's upsetting, especially so with all that's going on.
I continue to walk slightly ahead of Jenna, unsure of what to say, and feeling like if I met her gaze right now, I'd regret it. I shine my light on a lone desert willow that sits on the bank of the nearby wash. In the branches, flickers of reflected light shine back. Eyes. They're small, and sitting squarely in a nest made from bramble, like that of the tumbleweed from earlier. Bird, I announce, monotoned. Jenna steps up beside me, hands on her hips as she looks where I'm now pointing. She exhales with some exasperation before responding.
Yeah. Looks like a wren.
How can you tell? As far as I know, Jenna was never much into nature or animals.
Wrens are the really fat ones, rotund.
She pushes her small hands together, making a circle to emphasize the roundness. Her eyes must be better than mine, because I can only just barely make out the beak. I look back at Jenna, and she's still staring up at the tree. Something about the whole scene of it just gives me this strange twinge of nostalgia. Us wandering aimlessly about Echo with nowhere to go and nothing to do. And how we thought that feeling would last forever. Is it just me, or is this conversation kind of familiar? Not the bird, I mean.
You and I walking around, talking about stupid things Leo's doing? Yeah, that's not too out of the ordinary.
She smiles some, and I can't help but smile back. Yeah, and that and God. Do you remember showing me those yaoi comics you got from the mall?
Yes. Oh, yes. I hid them under a rock like a half-mile from my house. I had to fight a scorpion to get you your Koko Tanuki eye issues. Oh, a Tanuki, huh?
Didn't we guess this as an implication, but it wasn't actually confirmed before that they were yaoi?
But the comics...
Didn't they just say manga before?
Well, no, I mean, she was like, I like manga, I like anime and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was making
like,
jokes about yaoi.
Jenna lets out an amused noise, shaking her head. While my relationships with the rest of the group, besides Leo, had mainly stayed the same after they found out I liked guys, Jenna and I actually grew more close after the fact.
We have something in common. Like it's like, you know, I love having my male gay friends because I don't have to worry about them falling in love with me, which is just such a problem for everybody else in the whole world. But then also I could just talk about dicks with them and they don't mind.
You read like 4 of my porn comics yesterday.
Yeah. It only took me like 20 minutes. I was like, boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, it was.
I was like, oh, cute dicks, cute dicks.
God, what was that? It was Table for 3.
I liked that one because that was multifaceted.
Yeah, there's a Table for 3, Liquid Courage, the Smolder Scrolls one with the potion, and
the room one with the little.
Oh yeah, room 601 or whatever the fuck it's called. The one with the with the hole in the door.
It's a cute concept. I wish that I mean, I'm not saying I wish that was like something people could just do because I would think there's actually a lot of problems that would cause, but that would like. I was disappointed by that comic. What a world.
I was disappointed by the print of that comic because it has a bunch of one-offs that are really funny. They're like single-page jokes that they did for like another season essentially, and that print stops at the end of the first like
encounter
setup.
Yeah, well, I wanted more.
It doesn't have the actual part that's most memorable. Is that for like a year or two they kept making like 1 or 2 page scenarios.
Yeah, no, I wanted like more follow up on like how that works out.
Oh yeah, it's a very goofy comic. It's memorable.
Good concept. I've seen that concept implemented. That is definitely like, what is that? It's like oh, stepbrother, I'm stuck in the dryer. Oh no, I'm stuck in the dryer. I'm stuck under the bed. How do I get out?
I saw the creator in their fursuit at MFF and as that character, and it is perfect. It completely exactly recreates that character proportionally. It's absurd. The llama? Yeah.
But he's cute. He's got a fat butt.
Yeah. It's such a well-made fursuit. It's wild. That stuff's always really impressive because like all of them are impressive craftsmanship and stuff, but you can definitely see that there's templates. Like you can notice that like, oh, that's the same suit as that other suit that I've seen before, but with different colors on it.
Yeah, like you can tell it's like made by the same people or something.
And it's like the same. They're clearly using the same like foam frame over and over again, and using the same materials but different colors and patterns. But every now and then you see like a wildly original, specific one that just nothing else looks like, and like that is just a project.
And you're like, that's a pretty penny right there.
Yeah.
He definitely bought that with the money he made from his comics.
Despite not really being too into anime, talking to her about manga and the dumb romance stuff in them was always kind of fun.
This reminds me of being a kid. I used to do this with my friends.
My hero. I sort of remember discussing the differences between yaoi and bara. You talking just now kind of reminded me of that. We talked about this in the Echo Discord, but we were talking about like was it because McSkinny enjoys your commentary and finds your interest interesting because this wasn't made as a yaoi, so it wasn't really made with a female audience in mind. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, she reads porn, but she reads like Liz Suburbia, not yaoi.
I like
a whole different genre.
I mean, I don't read.
You read because you read like punk comics.
Yeah, I read. Okay, so yeah, I read comics. I read a lot of like American alternative comics, which are they're not superhero comics, but they're like
stuff sold at Silver Sprocket,
like Ghost World or something, or like little indie ones. Or I do read manga, but I like manga that's really dark and serious. I'm reading like Blood on the Tracks is fucking great. Yeah, Junji Ito's great. Oyasumi Pun Pun is my favorite.
What's that classroom one?
The fucking, was it Disappearing Classroom or Floating Classroom? It's the one with all the kids who are in school, and their school like basically goes to a different dimension and they have to fight like aliens on another planet, and a lot of them get murdered and eaten and killed, and it's really fucking horrible.
Yay.
Yeah,
child murder.
I love stuff like that. I
endorse child murder.
I don't read yaoi, and I don't read a lot of. I used to read a ton of slice of life romance manga that just involved people. It doesn't matter if they're boys or girls, but like Fruits Basket was my jam back when I was in like 5th grade. I was all about that shit. But like, I just like comics, but I don't necessarily think of this game as yaoi to me, only because I just like seeing attractive people fucking, and it doesn't matter. I don't classify it in any specific way or genre. It's just like, I don't necessarily care. I don't care what bits you've got. It's like, you know, I just like things that are like that. I don't go out of my way to read yaoi specifically.
I have a bear comic.
I don't go out of my way to read yaoi, but I definitely will if Keith hands me ones that he has in his room with furries in it.
Like this Barra comic called Massive, which is a collection. Just a whole ass compilation of several artists.
There was a really, you know what? I should have fucking bought it for you. There's a really artsy one that I found
art that's actually gay instead of women gay.
Yeah, I think I do. Yeah,
I got pushed back for pointing out the idea that, because I talked about this in the Beastars video, that like a lot of like guy on guy stuff that's written and drawn is often made by straight women, but there's like pushback on that idea because they could be queer women in various ways, but it is still extremely noticeable when like gay stuff is made for like just for women in general, and just noticeably not made by or for the people that are actually the subjects of the art, and how that can feel very strange.
It is really weird. Like I agree that I think that is it's like the same. Okay, how about this? It's in the same way that like there is Yuri, which is like girl on girl, and occasionally it's like written by, a lot of times I feel like a lot of times it's written by women, and it is like how Jenna said, it's kind of like slow burn and romantic and like subtly sexy and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And like but there is also Yuri that's written by men that's just full on like what they think women, how they think they fuck each other, and it's like I can always tell right away that that's not, I'm like, okay, no, like,
yeah, this
is not made for me exactly.
Like there's so much gay stuff that is made by men that is just wildly unrealistic, but in like a absurd,
they know what men
or dumb
look
fantasy
for.
way.
Like,
and then there's like gay stuff made by women that is like incomprehensible, where you're like, I don't understand what they're going for or what they're basing this on.
It's like when straight guys draw
so
titties,
strange.
and I'm like, those are the most unrealistic titties I've ever seen in my fucking life. But then you get like some like lesbian who writes like a Yuri comic, and it's just so like sultry and romantic, and you're like, oh my gosh, like,
yeah.
I have friends I share those with. Like,
we just had a back and forth exchange where you sent me an image that was like how men draw women versus how women draw women, and I already had an image prepped.
I thought that it was like by the same person. It looked like.
Yeah, I had like a response image prepped, which is the one that's like how women draw gay men and how gay men draw gay men, and it's like the yaoi paddle like nightmare long hands pretty boy stick man.
He reminded me of like, the professor from
this incredibly
the
bloated
Girls.
Barra chest dude. Like
yeah,
like the massive difference between the two. And that carries on to
women like
the same thing happens
sometimes.
with furries too. Like there are, like I was surprised to find out that Nomifuki is a woman because of the fact that she draws her characters in that specific way, because so many of the women that draw furry gay art also have a tendency to recreate that trope of the yaoi stuff, where you're like, huh, okay. Although the tweet where there's probably stuff to unpack and language barrier stuff too, because the tweet where Nomi Fuki says that they're a woman also says that she wishes that she had a dick so she could fuck women. So it's like the process of her drawing.
Hit me up.
She draws the two. She draws those wolves that are the delinquents that have this weird relationship with each other, as like an expression of, like, I don't know, a form of penis envy or something. I think there's a language barrier in her or their expression of even trying to unpack their relationship with gender at that point.
I've been with friends who I like identify as female, but I've been out dick shopping with them before, but it's for the purpose of buying dicks to fuck other women with, and they'll be like, "This one's so cute," and we'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cute! I love this one," and like it's really fun. But it is funny how that works, where it's like, "Oh yeah, no, I want like big dick so I can fuck this chick with," but at least, you know, we have the ability to swap them out, you know, for different occasions. This is quite a conversation, Keith.
The moment we were getting to Jenna, I'm like, Jenna resembles Stephanie enough that, like, we're going to have very specific conversations in this playthrough.
Well, and then also you got the bisexual angle, which is like, you know, obviously, like, I mean, I know Chase is bisexual,
yeah, it's
but
flipped
like,
of who's bisexual in the story.
Dude, I love dating bisexual guys because they're usually really good at fucking. I'm just gonna put that out right now. Like, and plus, I feel like that means that they're more open. They're more open-minded about things, and it's like, from my experience, it's been great. I would definitely hit Chase up if
there's a lot of men.
If he didn't have that soul patch,
he just got to shave it off in his sleep. A lot of men have a really fucked up complex about masculinity and the idea that, like, sex itself is this thing that is like this acquisition of power and done for like reasons other than enjoyment, and there's all these fucked up ideas of gender and performance that like get in the way of them just having sex. It's bizarre to hear straight people talk about sex sometimes because they don't get what it is. It's really confusing. It
can be rough because, like, if I date women, they're obviously gay or like bisexual, you know. But if I date men, there is like a chance that they will be straight, and so there is like this weird like blockage of like, oh, like, you haven't thought about a lot of things, have you? There's a closed-mindedness to it sometimes. Not all the times. I've definitely met straight guys that were very open-minded to lots of things. It's just, it is weird basically being like,
there's just trends
on the gay like spectrum here, and then dating a straight person, because that's just how it lines up.
Yeah.
You know? It makes some conversations somewhat difficult.
I sort of remember discussing the differences between yaoi and bara. You talking just now kind of reminded me of that, and that's why it reminded us of that. It's like the videos that we make. Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Anyone who doesn't like these tangents is gone by now.
I'm so sorry, everyone. I feel so bad sometimes.
No, at this point, we're so many hours in that they're just up for this. Like, they can't complain anymore.
Anyone who's stuck with us so far, like, I'm like, thank you guys so much.
I think we've been especially bad lately, but I think also we're more prone to this stuff before things get bad each playthrough. I think there's kind of like a hangout vibe where we're hanging out with the characters, and then also the audience is kind of hanging out with us. And then, like,
who'd want to do that?
And then the sirens blare and the rust starts showing everywhere and everything's fucked and everyone's hallucinating, and then that kind of like changes the pacing of both the game and our playthrough each time.
Yeah, that's true. Some of these people are like, fucking go get on with it, though.
Well, they should have made different choices or played the game themselves.
Well, anyone who enjoys our commentary, I appreciate you very much. Sorry that a lot of it's probably irrelevant to you.
Sorry, it's twice as long as it needs to be. Saying those two words out loud feels weird.
Boys love and man's love, right?
Is that really what they... I've heard of BL, so I know that's a thing. I've never heard of ML. Is that a thing? Is this the comparison?
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't like once you have the juxtaposition of boys love to man's love, then I'm like questioning, like,
if boys love, yeah, no.
Those two terms that feel weird.
So I feel like Yuri probably has another one, but I only know the Yuri one. But like, I know that there's that there's like shonen and shoujo, which is like girls comics and boys comics, and there's like
Jojo.
There's like josei is like older girls comics, like basically like women's comics, and I'm sure there's like one for men too. Whether there's just different words for different age groups it's supposed to be aimed at, and I might be completely fucking this up, and I apologize, but like I have noticed that there's like I had to learn like josei is more like nana is like josei, and like shoujo is like fucking like I said, like Fruits Basket or something like.
And then there's
Toradora,
JoJo's, which is queer culture,
or JoJo's, which is everything I need. I love JoJo's forever.
Did you read that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do remember that, Chase. I'm a little surprised you do.
She says this with a forced teasing tone to her voice for some reason. The face. I just want to see her fucking smile and Jeremy's fucking smiles in frame at the same time.
That'd be
funny.
Just
making that face.
I want to watch them tease each other.
They look extremely related, and not just because of their obvious appearance. Like
of foxes.
Their expressions are related.
I want to see her manga collection. Jenna, invite me over so I can read manga with you.
Wow, here's words people don't use. I cant my head curiously toward her.
Is the writer like where is he from? Is he from here?
I don't know. I do not know.
There's some words I think are just more common other places. That's only. Yeah. I mean, it is it makes sense in English. Just we don't use it in the U.S. very much.
It's been here twice. When you have a word you're distinctly not used to, it really stands out. When it starts getting reused, you're like, oh, this is a word I like to use. I like to use can't as a verb. That verb, which I pretty much had to pick up on context.
I feel like just saying tilt would be easier, or crane, or like I don't know.
Why wouldn't I? I really enjoyed all that. Talking with you, I mean.
Truly? I suppose I thought that I was only being humored for my special interest topics that the rest of you were not remotely as interested in. It's a little creepy now that I think about it in context. Oh, I have so many moments like that where I just overindulge and just talk to someone for too long, and I rarely ever get a chance to do that. But I'll just go on about something really fucked up, and I'm like, oh man, I feel bad that I did that to that person. Like, something like really lewd or something really like gory or something. Like, I watched this movie and this happened, and then I'm like, oh man, I burdened that person with that conversation. Or I go on about like my fish or my snakes or something. I'm like, oh, blah 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 blah. Like, and I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry I did that to you.
Let me tell you about the hemipenis.
Yeah, the hemipenes.
I waved dismissively. No, I mean, you weren't like a fan Yoshi or what anything. Hell, you should have seen all that sort of yaoi junk Leo kept on his computer.
Fujoshi? And really?
I don't think this is a real word.
No, he's butchering it.
Yeah, sure, whatever. And yeah, sure, whatever. And yeah, he was pretty into the more porny stuff.
Some hentai.
Jenna laughs some.
Most yaoi is written by women who've never met a gay guy before. There you go. And it's full of gender-imprinted uke-seme tropes and dubious consent. I think
there's a lot of that.
Like I said, I might be fucking this up, but uke-seme being like submissive and like dominant submissive, it's like their version of that.
There's a lot of weird like
more masculine guy and more feminine guy. I guess is kind of how they like.
Yaoi has a lot of forced stuff that's like increasingly questionable. And then there's their entire face starts leaking.
Why? Because they're crying?
Everything. Just everything that can, any moisture that can come out of any part of their face happens all at once.
Oh,
it's so much. You're like, why are you doing this?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not, you get some like hentai where it's like snots coming out of their nose and stuff, and it's like crying and like drool and everything. The ahigao, like, blah. People like that.
Why?
Hey, sometimes that's hot, like Chase is about to say.
Hey, sometimes that's hot.
Exactly.
I'm surprised the words leave my mouth and immediately feel a burn around the edges of my ears. Jenna looks at me. I can't quite read her expression right now in the darkness, though I'm not about to shine the flashlight on her.
Yeah, that's part of why we read it. As long as it's understood as fantasy and not normalcy.
Of course. I nod. looks directly at camera.
But take this back to reality for a second.
It's okay if you're into Leo, but only in fiction.
No one should be forcing themselves on you like that. No matter what they see in the porn or how long they've known you.
Right. I appreciate the concern.
Yeah, Chase. Consent. You gotta...
It's all wrapped back around to the fucking claw machine.
Yeah, I know, she's bringing it back.
Yep. I nod again at Jenna, who returns to scanning the nearby underbrush. However, I can't help but feel at least a bit like I'm being treated like some battered victim here. Maybe I'm just too numb these days to feel like I probably should. It's interesting to have this conversation about him being an abuse victim in the route after the one where he was extremely an abuse victim.
Well, I just think it's refreshing to have this happen with a gay guy, with a girl having this conversation with them, because, like, most women have heard, like, you know, people lecture them about consent and stuff, and obviously we all understand. Most of us do.
Yeah, and there's a tendency to minimize
it comes off as
abuse
luxury
towards men to the point of the idea like it almost can't exist.
Yeah. So it's nice that, like, I mean, as much as like he feels like it might be a little bit pandering right now, it's nice to have that flipped, because that's usually it's the other way around. Yeah,
and there's just like an element of like the extent to which the abuse is being taken seriously in this playthrough highlights how how fucked up things were last playthrough, when no one had a chance to even stop and talk about it.
Mm-hmm. It was all like touch and go. Like,
yeah, because everything was on fire and everyone had guns. There was so much shit happening, but there was just extended sexual abuse, and that whole route is a nightmare. Dear Lord.
Well, Brian could show up in this one too, just saying.
Yeah, I doubt they do the same scene again or something, but like, yeah, by the end of that scene, you know why 2 years later Chase has PTSD and Kudzu's getting him through it, because he's the best character.
He is.
He was so good.
Yeah, so far. Like,
Even if he doesn't know how to use a gun, and it really was a problem that he didn't know how to use a gun.
He's a pretty sturdy significant other. I'll just point that out right now.
Toaster keeps calling him Metal Gear Kudzu, and I think he's a little biased in favor of the raccoon because raccoon. But I'm like,
that's because it's true. Like, he's wearing
Solid Snake knows how to use a gun.
You know, okay, that is true. That is true. But
Kudzu can't use a gun. He doesn't know how to. Also, apparently, the shirt is just based on Faith from Mirror's Edge.
Oh.
Kudzu's just.
I thought it was tactical, which is why I was confused he couldn't use a gun.
No, he's just dressed like Faith from Mirror's Edge. Like, his entire costume is. It's very funny when you notice it. He's just a cosplay of a video game character.
He looks like he's supposed to be like he's like some veteran or something. Like he's all like, I got PTSD.
No, I was so
I thought he was
sure he was a veteran with PTSD.
I know, and he's like, I'm gonna work on my rock garden and wear a tight black tank top, like. Just tragic gay.
Yeah, well, because his boyfriend got killed in a mugging. It sucks. They get to go off and have PTSD together.
I just like that there's a term like tragic gay, like.
Yeah.
It's just a tragic gay.